All right. Shalom, shalom. We're gonna get right to the lesson. Okay. So we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. By Shema Rashad, shalom to the apostle brothers, the elder great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. The time is at hand. Repent, right? The time is at hand. So you see what's going on. Talking about the NWO, all these things, the rumors of wars and pestilence is all coming. So we're just gonna get into scriptures and get right to this video. And yeah. So let's go to Joel chapter 1, verse 15. Joel chapter 1, verse 15. It said, Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Right? Destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Let's read again, Joel chapter 1, verse 15. It said, Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, as destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Right, shall come. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It said, Blow your trumpet in Zion, sound and alarm in my holy mountain. Let all in the heaven of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord. Yeah, the day of the Lord come forth is not at hand. So right, we are blowing the trumpet. Joel chapter 2, verse 1 said, Below you the trumpet in Zion and sound and alarm in my holy mountain. Let all of the let all in the heaven of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord come forth is not at hand. A day of darkness and gloomy, a day of cloud and thick darkness, and the morning spread upon a mountain, a great people and strong, that had not been even there like another should be any more after even the year of many generations. Right? Year, Joel chapter 2, verse 10. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be darkness, and the stars shall withdraw thy shine. Joel chapter 2, verse 11. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he that, for he, hold on, yes, like, for he is strong to execute his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Right? Who can abide it? Right, the Lord. What was that? Okay. Well, let me see. I guess let's go to Job 5, verse 19. Job chapter 5, verse 19, it say, yeah, Job chapter 5, verse 19, he said, the liberty in six trouble, is yet in seventh there shall no evil touch thee. Verse 20, and famine shall redeem thee from death, and war from the power of the sword. They should be hidden from the scorns of thy tongue. Neither should they be afraid of destruction when it come, right, when it come. Verse 22, at destruction and famine, they shall laugh. Neither should they be afraid of the beasts of the earth. All right, Joel 5, verse 19, it says, he shall deliver thee in six trouble, yet seven there shall no evil touch thee. Right, no evil touch thee. Let's see, I'm not. Let's go to Psalm 91. Psalm 91, verse 1. get right into Psalm 91, verse 1. It say, he that dwell in a secret place, right? He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, right? Shall me again. Proverbs. Psalm 91, verse 1. He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in whom I will trust, right? Who I will trust. Verse 3, so he shall deliver thee from the snares of the fowl and from the noise of the pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feather, under his wings should thy trust, and his truth should be thy shield and buckler. Thou should be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day, nor for the pestilence that walk in darkness, nor for the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but they should not come nigh thee, right? Not should come nigh thee. Psalm chapter 91, verse 8. Only when thy eyes shall see thy behold, and shall see the reward of the wicked, because they have made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy inhabit. Verse 10, thou shalt no evil befall thee, neither should any plague come now thy dwelling. For he shall get his angel charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. Thou shalt bear thee upon thy hand, and let thy dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt trample upon the lion, and add the young lion, and the dragon shall thou trample under foot. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him, and I will set him on high, because he had known my name, Yahweh. By Shema verse 15, he shall call upon me, and I will answer, and I will win him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him with long life. I will sanctify him. He will show him my salvation. Job, let's go, Job. Read again, Psalm 91, verse 2. He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Move on. Next. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 28. Proverbs 1, verse 28. It said, they shall call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they hate knowledge and did not chosen for the Lord. Right? You hate knowledge and you not chosen for the Lord. They would none of my counsel, despise all my reproach. Therefore should they eat the fruit of their own ways, and be filled with their own device. For the turning away of simple shall slay them. Shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safety, and should be quiet from fearing of evil. Right? Should be quiet from fearing of evil. What's this? Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1. It says, remember not the created in the day of thy youth, while the evil day draw not, nor the year draw near. But I shall say, I have no pleasure in them. Right? For I say, for I have no pleasure in them. Right? Remember now the created day of thy youth. Let's read that again. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1. It says, remember now the created the day of thy youth, when the evil day come not, nor the year draw near. But I shall say, I have no pleasure in them, right? For I say, have no pleasure in them. Um, I got a couple more. See a couple more. See what else I got. Isaiah 9 verse 5. Isaiah 9 verse 5, it say, for every battle of the world is but confusion noise, and a garment rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fury of fire. Right? This shall be burning fury of fire. Isaiah 34, verse 1. Isaiah 34, verse 1. It said, come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you peoples, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all the armies. He had only destroyed them, and he had delivered them to the slaughter. Right? He had delivered them to the slaughter. Isaiah 34, verse 8. For it's the day of the Lord's vengeance, and a year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. Right? Congregation of Zion. Jeremiah. I forgot what this. I think it's in 51. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. Is it 51? Yeah, Jeremiah 50, verse 1. Thou said the Lord, behold, I raise up against Babylon and against the dwelling in the midst of them that raise up against me a destroying wind, and I would send unto Babylon fan that she fan her, and she empty her land for the day of trouble, and they should be against her round about. Right, they should be against her round about. Jeremiah 50, verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off for her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Verse, we will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, unto his own country, for her judgment is reached up to heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. Jeremiah 50, verse 10, the Lord will bring forth our righteousness, come at last us. Declare in Zion the work of the Lord, our power. Go back down. Jeremiah 50, verse 62, was it? Okay. I think this was it. What we did, Jeremiah 50, verse 6 and 51. Jeremiah 50, verse 60. So Jeremiah wrote in the book, and all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even those words that are written against Babylon, words against Babylon. Meant to be that long, but it's all right. Jeremiah chapter 6, no, it's Jeremiah 50, verse 60. It said, Jeremiah wrote in the book, all the evil shall come upon Babylon, even all those words that are written against Babylon, right? Against Babylon. Verse 62, they should not say, O Lord, that has spoke against this place to cut it off, that none should remain in it, neither man nor beast, but they should be desolate forever, right? Should be desolate forever. Jeremiah 50, verse 64 means, Jeremiah 50, verse 64. They shall say, not messing up, and they shall say, thou shalt Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be aware they far are the words of Jeremiah, the far are the words of Jeremiah. So again, Jeremiah 50, verse 64. And I shall say, thou shalt Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall beware. There far are the words of Jeremiah, right? The words of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51, verse I think it was in Jeremiah 50. Yeah. Jeremiah 50. Yeah, Jeremiah is 50 verse 45. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he should take, that's enough. Should draw them out. Surely he shall make them inhabit desolate when them. Verse 46, and none of the taking of Babylon to earth is moving, and the cry is heard among the nations, right? Among the nations. Let's read again, Jeremiah 50, verse 45. Therefore, hear you the counsel of the Lord that he had take against Babylon, and his purpose that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he should make their inhabit desolate with them, right? With them. Joel chapter 3. Joel chapter 3, verse 14. Multitude in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right here, near in the valley of decision. Verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkness, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion with under his voice from the Jerusalem, and the heaven and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel, right? Of Israel. Let's read here Joel chapter 3, verse 14. The multitude in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right, let's go to the list. But yeah, right, he's near in the valley of decision. I'm saying it right here. Yeah, well, yes, he said the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right, it's near. It is new. Let's go into this. As you see in New World Order is here. Who's gonna go look? It was 8 months. Go way back. No, I want to play it.
Because the free world has to show now that is ready to oppose this rise of new dictatorships that are threatening the very existence of the world order that we used to live in.
Yeah, well, they want a new world order. China, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin in Russia.
And this has taken us by storm. I mean, this is like a watershed moment. It's happening on the scale of an entire country of 40 million people. This is only something that we read about in books, saw in movies, and all of a sudden we are living those movies and those books.
So you and I might ask the question, how are things going to play out in the Ukraine?
We all know that also the next step that we see is a no-fly zone over Ukraine. And I know that everybody is saying, no, 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 the Third World War will start. I will be very blunt with you. It has already started because the attack on a nuclear plant, again, affects everybody.
Meanwhile, Russia has become increasingly isolated and its economy is in free fall. Death and destruction on the ground in Ukraine, a massive exodus of refugees, as we've just been hearing.
Vladimir Putin is trying to control the talking points, banning media outlets from using the term war when talking about the ongoing attacks. At least 2 independent Russian news outlets that refuse to share his talking points have been forced off the air this morning, and in an effort to intimidate journalists, the Russian parliament has just passed a new rule that basically puts a 15-year prison sentence on anyone who reports, quote, fake news, at least the way they view it. Guys.
Those pictures.
Unbelievable, right?
It looks very residential, Ron.
It
I mean,
really
I
does.
don't know. I know they were talking about going after military targets. Those didn't look military to me.
Not at all.
With every passing day, this war is becoming bigger. With every passing day, this war is pulling in more countries. Think about it. Our world is already fighting multiple wars. Experts believe China's conflict with Taiwan will turn into a military conflict sometime in the next decade. China is also fighting multiple countries in the South China Sea, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei. India and China are caught in a standoff. There is a conflict between Iran and Israel, Iran and the United States. The United States and North Korea are arch enemies. So are the United States and Cuba. There is also a war in Syria, a war in Yemen. Israel and Palestine are fresh out of a bloody battle. The United Arab Emirates was recently hit by missiles. It is hard to rule out that countries or non-state actors will seize on a distracted world and pursue their geopolitical dreams. It is hard to rule out that an escalation on the sidelines of Ukraine will drag in more countries.
We are entering day 6 of war as several Ukrainian cities are under attack this morning.
But I have traveled in conflict zones and done some reporting. And I remember being in Tripoli and Benghazi during the NATO attacks and the freedom fighters fighting, as well as against the Gaddafi forces. And it was sketchy, but this was ominous. It was ominous because it was so heartbreaking in the ripple effects it's going to have around the world with this incredible symbol of democracy, of belief in free dreaming. is being assaulted, and they're fighting for their lives, and they're going to continue to fight for their lives. And I start to feel that we as Americans are plummeting off a cliff, atop which is our flag that represents all of our dreams and the best of our history. And that we're plummeting where it's going to go out of sight. I don't know the answers. I don't know if no-fly zones will create a nuclear war.
Western leaders have repeatedly said that Russia's invasion challenges the world order. Is that how you see it as well?
Yes, I think the world order is being changed by the invasion of Ukraine. The world is a much more dangerous place today than a week ago.
And the fear, I suppose, is that other authoritarian regimes are watching this play out and could use it to their advantage, learn how to make a military move of their own.
Mr. Grossi, before I let you go, we have to ask about Iran.
International pressure, crippling sanctions, and even the threat of war. So far, nothing has discouraged Iran from its nuclear ambitions. Some analysts say its determination is part of Tehran's strategy.
Vladimir Putin. And don't forget, Iran has been brought into the fold as well. They were doing military exercises, the three of them, and the U.S. is trying to get the U.S., this administration trying to get the U.S. back into an Iran nuclear deal.
Iran has long desired nuclear technology. Following the Islamic Revolution in 1979, most countries cut off all nuclear cooperation with Tehran. And without reliable foreign fuel supplies, Iran started developing its own nuclear program. But as a consequence, it has been under economic sanctions since the 1990s. The West has been suspicious of the country's venture into nuclear energy, especially because of the high cost it has paid. Some experts also say it makes little sense, considering Iran is among the world's richest in natural resources. But Iran says its goals are peaceful, and it needs nuclear power to diversify its energy sector, as its oil fields will eventually be depleted. By giving up much control of its nuclear activities with the 2015 deal, Iran has also hoped to convince the West that it only means peace. Since the US left the agreement in 2018, Iran has deployed centrifuges that can produce nuclear fuel more quickly and brought its uranium enrichment program closer to weapons-grade level. Some analysts say just by having the technology that could be used to make a bomb, Iran would increase its sense of security and gain political influence in the Middle East.
Far from building bridges, China has been increasingly threatening its neighbor with its military. The numbers of Chinese Air Force incursions into Taiwan's air defense zone have gone up, as has the rhetoric from Beijing. China views Taiwan as a renegade province that needs to be reunited with the mainland.
We've seen China already tighten its grip on Hong Kong, warn Taiwan, encroach on Nepal's borders, and of course there are these tensions never ending in the South China Sea. If China were to make a military move, where do you think it would be?
Well, it will be Taiwan. Taiwan is absolutely central to the maritime strategy of China. This goes even beyond or before Xi Jinping. And if China can take Taiwan, it will have done so against American wishes, meaning that either the Americans are deterred or the Americans are defeated. Either way, it will fundamentally change the balance of power in the entire Indo-Pacific region.
Still, the greatest fear is that Taiwan is next on the list. And if that happens, we are in serious, serious trouble economically, militarily, and politically, because China will then control the flow of trade around the entire globe. Supply chain problems, you'll yearn for the day when we were dealing with a lack of toilet paper.
Our fellow journalist was just saying that it seems in Ukraine like Second World War, and it does, because Putin is trying to rebuild the Russian Empire or Soviet Union and drag all of us to the past, and we want to go to the future.
What about the Second World War? Flashback 1939. Germany invades Poland on the 1st of September. 2 days later, Britain and France declare war on Germany. Once again, it has a domino effect. Before you know it, the whole world is fighting. At least 50 million people are dead. Again, it all began with one country invading another.
The battle in Ukraine, it's a battle for the future of our world. It's a front line of freedom now.
Well, some say Russia's invasion of Ukraine has started a new era. What good are political boundaries in the face of a nuclear arsenal and defiance from an authoritarian leader? Those are questions being asked around the world.
In Israel, it is often referred to as a war in between wars on a variety of levels. For years, Israel's Air Force has also allegedly carried out strikes in neighboring Syria to prevent the entrenchment of Iranian forces or proxy militias. The overall aim to slow down Iran's nuclear program and its influence in the region.
Nobody wants a war in the Middle East. No question about that. At the same time, one has to remember that Israel is the only country that is threatened by Iran to be annihilated off the map.
That's why talks between world powers and Iran in Vienna to revive the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan for Action, also known as JCPOA, are being so closely watched here. The country has reportedly set aside a significant budget to prepare the Israeli military for a potential strike on Iran.
The main show is Vienna. Israel is trying to create an alternative to what's going on the table in Vienna. So we are trying to produce a viable military option, which Israel is still working on.
In the meantime, the war in between wars continues. Experts say a nuclear Iran would change the whole region and could lead to a nuclear arms race in the Middle East.
A return to energy dependence. Do you realize that 7% of our oil now comes from Russia? 7% of the oil that we process in the United States comes from Russia. But maybe more telling is that the United States' influence as a trusted partner amongst other nations has been pretty much decimated through the Arab Spring, which instead of bringing democracy and liberty to the Middle East, propped up some of the worst despots and has led to the deaths of millions of people through this internecine warfare that goes on amongst them.
We know Russia's economic might in part rests on fossil fuels. It's the world's biggest exporter of natural gas and the second biggest exporter of crude oil. That's worth over $160 billion a year. And this is one of Russia's biggest income streams. As the Harvard economist Jason Furman puts it, Russia is incredibly unimportant in the global economy except for oil and gas. It's basically a big gas station.
But you see the whole idea, and we understand, what's the end game here? Why would somebody go into a country like Ukraine with nothing really to gain? Well, first of all, it's the breadbasket of Europe. It's the largest wheat producer in the world. It also produces a ton.
You see here. Those are yep, that's it. So let's go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Let's go. Always get this. Yeah. Revelation 1, verse 3. It said, "Blessed is he that readeth his word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Right, for the time is at hand. So Revelation 1, verse 3, it said, "Blessed he that readeth and his word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Revelation 11, verse 14. Revelation 11, verse 14, it said, "The second woe is past. Behold, the third woe coming quick." Right? The third woe coming quick. Revelation 11, verse 14. "The second woe is past. And behold, the third woe coming quick." Verse 15. "And the seventh angel sound, and there was a great voice in heaven say, The kingdom of this world are becoming the kingdom of our Lord and of the anointed of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever." Right? Read again. Revelation chapter 11, verse 15. It said, the seven angels sound, and there was a great voice in heaven say, the kingdom of this world are to becoming the kingdom of our Lord and of his anointed. He shall reign forever and ever. Right? That should be it right there. So we will give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Double honor to the apostle brothers, Elder Ray Millstone. Shalom to the prophet elect. Shalom.